Welcome to the Mansuri Review, where we go beyond the headlines, breaking down interviews from the Mansuri Show on ARY Digital TV, and analyzing articles from Pakistan Link and Urdu Link.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we come across a story or a reflection that that just has a profound impact. And this is one of those times we're taking a deep dive into an article from Pakistan Link by Dr. Akbar Ahmed,
Oh, yeah.
a distinguished professor at American University, former Pakistan High Commissioner to the UK and Ireland. Wow. And a Wilson Center Global Fellow. Now, this piece offers a really unique perspective on interfaith understanding, and it's rooted in a very significant personal experience that Dr. Ahmed shares. And you've actually shared this article with us, and it's clear that you were really moved by it,
Absolutely.
especially the potential for bridge building across different faiths and cultures. So I think this deep dive is going to be really fascinating. We'll explore the details of this evening to remember, as he calls it, and really kind of unpack what it tells us about overcoming division and finding common ground.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into that.
Okay? So Dr. Ahmed starts by really vividly describing the setting of this event, the Washington National Cathedral, and he talks about its significance as a place of national prayer remembrance. Really important events are held there.
Absolutely.
And he even mentions that he represented Islam as a pallbearer for President Gerald Ford there back in 2007,
Oh, wow.
which is, such a powerful moment of recognition, not just personally for him, but symbolically for the entire Muslim American community.
That's powerful.
Yes, it's a powerful image. It really also speaks to the solemn and important nature of this location.
And that he was chosen for such a role to represent Islam.
Exactly. And it sets the stage for this very special event this evening that he recounts, which took place in February 2005.
How interesting.
It was a Sunday evensong prayer, and it was dedicated to Dr. Ahmed by the Episcopal Bishop of Washington, John Chain. And this was in recognition of Dr. Ahmed being named the 2004 Washington, D.C. Professor of the Year. Now, that in itself is a huge honor.
A huge honor indeed, but it's the interfaith dimension of what followed that really makes the story so remarkable. So Bishop Chain and Rabbi Bruce Lustig, who was the senior rabbi of Washington's largest synagogue, they jointly presided over this service along with Dr. Ahmed. Wow, so you have a Christian bishop and a Jewish rabbi coming together to honor a Muslim scholar in February 2005.
And as Dr. Ahmed points out in his article in Pakistan Link, this was a time when Islamophobia was a very significant concern.
Absolutely.
And it was a very tense time, so this tri-faith gesture was really incredibly impactful.
And it was brave of them, I think, to do this at that time.
Exactly.
And it was a really powerful message.
It was a powerful statement of unity and respect across these different faiths.
It wasn't something that was just done quietly. This was a formal service in a very public space.
Exactly.
So really a very public statement.
You're listening to the Mansuri Review. Dr. Ahmed, in his article, he really brings to life the emotional weight of this evening. He talks about how a BBC journalist was moved to tears, and he recounts hearing from Muslims who were just deeply touched, even surprised that verses from the Holy Quran were recited, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was respectfully acknowledged within the National Cathedral.
It must have been really surprising for them to hear that.
Yes, it was.
And such a place.
Unexpected and deeply meaningful.
I can imagine.
So it really shows how much this event resonated with people,
And how much people were yearning for this kind of understanding.
especially in the aftermath of 9/11.
Exactly.
This was something that went beyond just a symbolic gesture.
Yes, it was something that really touched people's hearts.
Now, Rabbi Lustig's invocation was titled Dr. Akbar Ahmed, a God Seeker, and Dr. Ahmed shares some really powerful excerpts from it in his article. One line that really stands out is, as a descendant of Abraham, when others choose to build walls of fear, he chooses to build bridges of understanding.
That's a beautiful line.
It's a powerful image, especially considering the historical context.
Right?
There were so many fears, misconceptions about Islam at the time in 2005.
What were some of those specific fears?
After 9/11, there was just this huge rise in suspicion towards Muslims. And a lot of it was just based on misinformation fueled by fear and by inaccurate portrayals in the media. And Dr. Ahmed's work, through his writings, his engagements, he was actively countering those fears.
He was really trying to build those bridges by fostering empathy and dispelling those myths.
And Rabbi Lustig also acknowledged Dr. Ahmed's courage in choosing dialogue and faith in God over hate, violence, fear, and isolation, even when facing personal risks. That's a really powerful testament to his character.
It takes a lot of courage to do that.
And Rabbi Lustig also described Dr. Ahmed's voice as calm, gentle, filled with wisdom and truth amidst the often loud noise of extremism.
Right? It's like he was a voice of reason.
Yes, a voice of reason.
In a time when there was a lot of shouting.
Exactly. And building on Rabbi Lustig's powerful words about bridge building, Bishop Chain's sermon really kind of elaborated on this vision of interfaith harmony.
Right?
He stated that Rabbi Lustig, and Dr. Ahmed represented the dreamers and visionaries of our global community. So it wasn't just an isolated event, it was part of a much larger vision for a more peaceful future.
A world where people of different faiths can live together in harmony.
And Bishop Chain went on to express his hope for a world where people of different faiths could coexist peacefully, even while holding different beliefs about ultimate truth. So acknowledging those genuine differences, but still striving for that peaceful coexistence.
It's really important to recognize that you can have different beliefs but still respect each other.
Absolutely. And he even shared how sharing meals and conversations with their families filled him with joy and hopefulness.
So it's not just about the big ideas, it's about those personal connections too.
Exactly. Those human connections. You're listening to the Mansuri Review. Now, Dr. Ahmed, in his reflections on this event, he shared his own remarks from the service, and he emphasized Islam's deep and abiding respect for revered figures like Jesus and Moses, and he expressed his belief that if this fundamental connection were more widely understood, it could really help prevent harmful and divisive rhetoric.
From both sides. So, from Western commentators and from Muslim commentators, it's about understanding each other's faiths.
Exactly. And he commended both Bishop Chain and Rabbi Lustig for their courage in recognizing our shared humanity during such a challenging time.
Right. Because it did take courage.
It did, because he even acknowledged the attacks that Bishop Chain faced under this inaccurate and unfair banner of being Washington's first openly Jewish and Muslim bishop.
Which is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But it shows that how much there were people who were opposed to what they were doing, to this kind of dialogue, but they stood firm in their stance against human rights violations against Muslims.
Yeah, they were really committed to this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ahmed concludes his reflections with a really thought-provoking challenge. He asks us to imagine a leading Jewish or Christian scholar being invited to speak at Friday prayers in a major mosque. And he notes that over a decade later, he was still waiting for such a truly reciprocal gesture.
Which is really an important point to consider. Because it's not enough to just receive gestures of goodwill. It has to be a two-way street.
Exactly. There needs to be that reciprocity. And Bishop Chain closed that remarkable evening with a really resonant message of hope. He said, "Dialogue is a first beginning of a new journey for this global community."
They're so relevant today.
They remain a challenge even today.
Absolutely.
It's an ongoing process, and so this evening to remember at the Washington National Cathedral, it really offers a compelling example of interfaith dialogue in action. It just shows the profound impact of recognizing our shared humanity.
Yeah. It's really inspiring.
And it highlights the courage and the vision of individuals like Bishop Chain and Rabbi Lustig who are actively fostering understanding during times marked by division and mistrust.
And it reminds us that even amidst periods of division, there are always these individuals and these moments that offer hope.
Yes, it demonstrates the potential for building bridges across religious divides. As you can see from this article, there are truly profound stories and reflections to be discovered when we thoughtfully look beyond the immediate headlines. And Dr. Ahmed's experience at the National Cathedral is a potent reminder of the power of human connection and the importance of extending gestures of friendship and respect across all religious divides.
Absolutely. Looking back, this evening wasn't just about three religious leaders sharing a stage. It was about showing that when we have the courage to take those first steps, to really see and honor each other's humanity, something profound becomes possible. The question is, are we ready to take those steps today?
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Mansuri Review, where we take a deep dive into this insightful piece from Pakistan Link.
It's been a pleasure.
Keep watching The Mansuri Show on ARY Digital TV, reading the Pakistan link and Urdu link, and stay connected to Pakistan.